The biggest position in my stock portfolio is Tesla, the stock, and I own it mainly because of the humanoid robot, and because I believe we will see billions of humanoid robots. And if you do like the basic valuations, no matter if you do like a discounted cash flow analysis or stuff, you can also check out the Finxter channel to find those kind of valuations that I did on the humanoid bot. I am very optimistic and very confident that we will see a future of humanoid robots very soon. We already see them everywhere, so it is happening, and we will see the hype cycle starting in 2024. More and more people talk about the humanoid robots, and the Tesla stock will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of humanoid robots. So all companies, like all major companies, are now talking about robotics in different form factors, like the humanoid form factor, but also kind of other embodiments, right? For instance, you can have robots on wheels and stuff. And so robotics, like humanoid robots, is like more a metaphor, right? So you have robots that can actually help in a house, can help in factories, can be integrated easily in every single company on the planet, and they are eager workers, right? So you can give them tasks, they will do the tasks, and they are already technically able to do these things. So there's a huge economic interest for business owners and for also for individuals to hire robots to do like basic work, because many of us do basic work in the house and stuff, work that could already be done by robots, and that it will be done by robots, so we have more free time or more time actually doing useful work. So robots is the main thesis in my Tesla investment. So if Tesla did nothing but develop the robots, I would still invest at the current price. So everything else that comes with Tesla is more like a call option for me. It's like a free option I have. If they make some additional money with these kind of things, then good for me. And let's talk about the Robotaxi unveil on 8/8. So on 8th of August, Elon Musk announced that he has a special Tesla Robotaxi unveil. So they will definitely launch the Robotaxi network in 1 month. Of course, many people are doubtful. So if you look at Reddit, for instance, there's a lot of hate going on. Everybody's hating on Elon basically in this thread. If you check out this Tesla Robotaxi unveil on 8/8, everybody is bashing him, right? So it is funny, he cancelled model. Nobody is actually expecting that he will go through. Basically, there's a lot of commentary about the deeper meaning of the launch date, but it doesn't matter for us, right? I mean, for us, it's just interesting if it will happen. I think everybody is bearish now, but Elon has proven time and again that he's able to deliver very complicated, almost impossible projects. Launching Starship, I mean, how probable is it that a single human being can actually create a space company that is working and that makes profit and is worth 100 billion already? And many of us use satellite, many of us already, so the utility of SpaceX is huge, right? Many of us use satellite internet already on a monthly basis, so we can work from anywhere in the world, even from a yacht if you want. So we can work from the sea, right? From a beach, from some regions where there wouldn't be any internet. So he is able to create useful products, and he has proven it time and again, and this is what made him the richest man on the planet. So I believe there is something to the 8/8 thesis. So let's examine, maybe with a spreadsheet, what we might be able to expect. This is not investment advice. I just did a spreadsheet for myself, just to see if it happens. As you know, it's just a call option for me. So if it works, fine. If not, I don't worry about it, because I'm there for the humanoid robot. But let's have some numbers. So here I extracted for the last 10 years, I extracted the number of units sold, Tesla cars sold, and the growth rate. So you see the growth rate goes from 41% to like 38%, so remained constantly over 30% every single year. I'm not like too aggressive with my growth assumptions now. I assume the lower growth rate of only 30% growth of just the electric vehicle sales, right? So we see like a growth to 11 million annual electric vehicles sold in the year 2030, which is still like 6 years away. And if we do this, we can calculate how many cars we can expect, how many Teslas we can expect on the road for each of the years, right? And how do we do this? We actually research the average lifetime of a Tesla car, which is easily 8 years, probably much more, but being conservative, I just assumed 8 years. Now I take the cars on the road and I add the old cars on the road here, which is like in this D2 cell, so the previous, this cell, and I multiply it with 7 divided by 8. So 7/8 of these cars will be still on the road. If we have a churn rate of 1/8, then 1/8 will be gone. So we multiply this number with 7/8, and then we add the new units sold to the result of this first operation. So we take this number and multiply it with 7/8 and add this number to get this number. And this is the expected number of cars on the road, assuming an 8-year lifetime. And you see in the years 2024 to 2030, this is like the future. We need to predict this, is we will see 6.2 million cars on the road based on the same calculation, right? Because we already assumed this growth rate, which gives us the number of new cars sold. Then using this 7/8 value, we actually obtain as results, we go from 6 million cars on the road to 34 million cars on the road, which is not too aggressive because there are like 80 million cars sold in a given year on the planet. So if you assume that Tesla is not like selling 34 million in a year, but on the road, so we have 34 million. So like a small portion of the newly sold cars of the newly sold cars are Teslas. This gives us like this 34 million numbers. And now we assume the Robotaxi is working, right? And this is, I think it's not too much of a stretch because I drive a Tesla, I use full self-driving. I am really impressed with full self-driving in Germany even, and I have seen the videos firsthand from full self-driving, for second-hand I should say. Now I have firsthand seen the videos, but it's still second-hand experience. I've seen the videos of people like driving an hour or so without an intervention in San Francisco and Austin and stuff. So I'm super convinced that cars will be self-driving. So cars will be able to drive themselves, and many jurisdictions already allow robotaxis, right? So you see it in China, you see it in San Francisco, and more jurisdictions will add robotaxis because they just save life. So, I mean, we can argue this, again, as I said, it's a call option for me, but I'm convinced that we will see like 100% robotaxis in some time in the future. And which time, I mean, who knows? Nobody knows. But I think we will, like a couple of years after they become good enough, we will see a significant portion of robotaxis because they are already safer, they are cheaper, the economics are just too mind-boggling, right? Because we don't need to pay the Uber driver, we have our own driver who drives us more safely from A to B. It's like cheaper and safer, it's the 10x improvement, it saves lives. And jurisdictions that do it actually gain economically, so there's a game theory as well. So, and already we see jurisdictions adopting it. It is not like a future. The future is already here. It is just unevenly distributed. So it is just a process going from 0 to 100%. But we will see like a almost 100% robotaxi future, right? So, in my opinion. If we take those numbers, if we start very slowly, we say like only 0.1%. So maybe only a few Tesla owners in like a handful of cities that allow robotaxis will use it. So we assume a small number here, 0.1%. We can even go with 0%. It doesn't even matter. And we assume like a small portion of in the next year, 25, we will see a small portion, like 1%. Robotaxis, and then we see like, say, assume this is just a future scenario. Assume like we slowly, as the FSD service subscription becomes more valuable because they keep improving it every single day, and we see this exponential improvement of miles driven without intervention. We see like a ramp up of the percentage of robotaxis from those cars on the road, because if I could make money with my Tesla, I would do it. So many Tesla owners, probably much more, will decide to include their cars into the Robotaxi network that will be launched most likely in 1 month. So more and more people will add their cars, and in the year 2030, I'm not too aggressive, I think, assuming that 32% will just include their cars in the Robotaxi network. And probably if you really had the Robotaxi network, then the units sold variable would also like explode much faster than just 30%. But I like staying conservative. I assume like 30% growth rate annually until 2030, and assume that in 2030 we only have 1/3 of the car drivers, of the Tesla drivers, actually add their cars to the Robotaxi network and let it make some revenue. Now, this gives us a number of Robotaxis we have on the road, right, with these assumptions. And now we can multiply this with the revenue per Robotaxi. This is like the total end-to-end revenue, and this needs to be shared between Tesla and the Robotaxi owner. And we will talk about this in a minute. So how much revenue does a Robotaxi make? Can a Robotaxi make? I would argue at least 78,000. How do I come to this number? I take the Uber driver revenue, is like 25 bucks per hour. You can research this online. This is what a Uber driver on average makes per hour. I can easily make my Robotaxi work 12 hours a day. For the days it works, and maybe some days it's in repair or something, I don't know. So I assume it only takes 260 days. It only works 260 days. Probably these numbers can be higher as well, right? I mean, it can work probably 16 hours or so, or 14 hours, and charge the remaining time if I really want to squeeze out every profit I can. But I don't assume this. I don't assume like 12 hours a day and 260 days, and so the total yearly hours worked for my Robotaxi would be 3,120. I multiply this with the revenue to get to the $25 per hour, and this is kind of similar ballpark than many other people doing the same analysis. So we say the total revenue is 78,000. We can also like take the miles, cost per miles, and then assume miles driven or so. It just comes to this number, gets to this number, a similar number from a different perspective. Some people have like a higher numbers, like make 100k in revenue or so. I just assume like conservatively 78k in revenue per Robotaxi, and of course this need to be split. We have some expenses and stuff, so I assume Tesla makes profit of 25% of this. So take rate could be something like 30% or so, but in the end for Tesla it's just an update, sending an update to software update to the car owner. So they have relatively small expenses for, say, the training of the AI models and so on, that the full self-driving AI models, which is significant, right? But they can distribute it. They have already they already have spent this kind of money, so it won't probably scale up with the number of Robotaxis on the road. It scales gracefully. So assuming like Tesla doesn't take like 50% of the revenue or as profit, but only the 25% of the revenue then ends up as Tesla profit, we get the final number, the total profit in millions, like starting with 1 billion next year of total profit, and then scaling to 213 billion in the year 2030 as profit. So you see it could be a significant profit center, especially in the final year where the adoption has grown very quickly. But even if you are not like if you're assuming 2029, for instance, we have 81 billion in profit, which is quite significant even for those kind of small numbers, right? Don't assuming too insane growth levels, don't assume too insane net margin based on the revenue. So there's a lot of revenue that can be given to the Tesla owner. Like if I could make 50k revenue or so annually with my car, maybe I would do it, maybe not. I'm not sure. Probably I would do it. I would maybe I would purchase a new car. Actually, I would keep my old Tesla for myself, and I would purchase a new Tesla and add it to the fleet and make 50k additional profit per year. So why not? So 25%, I think it's also reasonable. I think most of these numbers are reasonable. And here, assuming only 16% would decide this, even like only 1 in 8 Tesla owners decides to add their car. It's also very, I think, reasonable assumption. So, but you can put in your own numbers. I think, like, what does it mean making 81 billion in profit, or even 213 billion in profit? So Apple currently makes 100 billion in profit on an annual basis. So this would be almost the Apple level, right? And if you have like a 35 PE because it's a fast-growing business, then this year it wouldn't have any impact. Next year it could already be like a 58 billion impact on the stock price, or like we can calculate per share. We simply divide this by 3.18 because we have 3.18 billion shares. So on the per share price, currently Tesla stock is at like 230 euros. Maybe Tesla stock USD is 229. And if you have 229 dollars now impact, we can already see like a small, say 10% impact or so on the stock in the next year, and then it's more and more significant impact in the subsequent years. And of course the market would probably assign the value, would front run this appreciation, so it would already assign the value of the Robotaxi network. If it sees some initial confirmation that actually this generates revenue, the revenue is growing, then the market would already speed run this per share appreciation. But being conservative, we assume like these are the numbers for the years. So in the end, we might see like a $900 impact on the stock in 2029, or even $2,300 impact per share in the year 2030. So if the Tesla stock is at Tesla stock USD. Okay, so this was still euro price. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's like if it is 230 euros, maybe the stock price is 260 or so. And so if you have 260 share price today, and this is like almost a 10x, right? It could be almost a 10x, which is like just another call option for me in my thinking, right? Because I did the valuation for Tesla completely without considering car sales, without considering Robotaxi network and stuff. So I'm in the stock because of Optimus, because I believe they will be the leading provider of humanoid robots, and humanoid robots will be the next embodied, the next successful product in my opinion. Like Apple smartphone, the iPhone. When it launched the iPhone initially, some people like already expected that the iPhone will be sold to billions eventually. So many people laughed at them, of course, and it was like a 20 years journey. But even if it is a 20-year journey to a billion humanoid robots, I think the return on investment you will get are pretty high. So they are like, if you do the math, like 20-30%, even higher, depending on the concrete growth assumptions you put in. So that's why I'm in Tesla stock because of humanoid robots. But I think these kind of numbers are also very encouraging. So now let's maybe do some external confirmation, because I only plugged in my own assumptions, my own numbers here very quickly to get a rough valuation in the year 2030. Could be 10x in 2030, only based on the Robotaxi network. If nothing else worked, but only the Robotaxi network worked, and they would like sell their car units, which they have already proven. They have also already proven to create cars that are capable of full self-driving, so they don't need to prove a lot anymore, right? I mean, it's not too much of a stretch. So if this one would happen, if you would see a 10x, then let's compare it to other people's assumptions. So ARK expects value for Tesla in 29, 2,600 per share. So they are like same ballpark a year earlier, mostly based on Robotaxis, I think. So here, model share price outcomes. Yeah, here you see their electric vehicles assumptions. So the blue portion of the pie is relatively low, and the green portion of the pie is significant. So their valuation comes mostly from Robotaxi. So they don't even assume any humanoid robots revenue or so, right, in this assumption. So they kind of come to the same ballpark number. I would trust their number more than my own number, because I think they did more research, more more grinding, to figure more, stress testing their numbers better and so on. They are definitely more knowledgeable than I am, but like just on a high level, I think it serves as a good confirmation. And again, we have like, I don't even care about these kind of revenues because I'm there for the humanoid robot. So I think it's a good, very great opportunity. We have multiple such vectors. Also, if you look at energy, energy has been proven to be a growth segment within the Tesla company, and it will be huge in the future, where we see additional demand for data centers and computation, right? We need more energy. So even the energy segment is interesting. Again, for me, I don't care about all these segments, but you could value Tesla from different perspectives. And I think if you, for most of the perspectives and assuming reasonable growth rates, you would see that Tesla is kind of very cheaply valued today, right? Because only one of those scenarios need to play out in order to justify an investment today. Okay, it's just my 2 cents. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, then subscribe to the channel and see you in the next video. Bye.